Greetings everyone and welcome back to the channel for another 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And today it's a little bit left field. We're going to be taking a look at something a little bit different. We're going to be having a look at the Creature from the Black Lagoon by Mondo. Now, Mondo are a new company on me. I have never owned a Mondo figure. This is the first one in my collection, although I do have their McCready from The Thing on pre-order, so we'll be reviewing that when that turns up later in the year. I think it's due out. But yeah, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, a film made in 1954, starring Richard Carlson and Julia Adams, I believe, and has gone on to go into the pantheon of Universal classic monsters, along with Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy, The Phantom of the Opera, and The Invisible Man. And as viewers to my channel will know, I am a huge fan of retro and vintage science fiction and horror, so this was a bit of a no-brainer for me. As always, we'll be taking a look at the box, having a quick look at the accessories down on the table, then it'll be getting the figure out onto the turntable, having a look at what the figure's all about, then over into the detail to see how this guy displays. But yeah, the film itself, as I say, was made in 1954 and is a bit of a classic now, although not stood the test of time brilliantly, but went on to influence, particularly The Creature, went on to influence generations, should I say, of filmmakers. There was rumours of a remake helmed by Guillermo del Toro back in the day, but that never came to pass. I think there were some problems there, but that remake actually ended up turning into The Shape of Water, which won him an Oscar. So yeah, the Creature itself, as I say, has influenced everything from The Shape of Water to Doctor Who in the UK, and still is viewed as a classic today. But that's enough of the film. Let's have a quick look at the box, see what the box is all about, and straight away, I'm actually loving this box. I believe this artwork is actually from the original movie posters of the time that it was released, and I think they got permission from the artists themselves. Mondo got the permission from the artist to actually use this image on the box, so it is an officially licensed product, and I believe it's part of the Mondo Universal Monsters, classic Universal Monsters range. But yeah, quick look at the box, and an imposing box it is too. Very, very large. I'm loving the artwork on this front cover. It just says Creature from the Black Lagoon in this wavy font. You got this wonderful hand-painted image of the creature itself rising from the green depths. Let's spin it round and take a look at the side. On the side there, it says Creature from the Black Lagoon. I'll angle this a little bit so you can see it better. Universal Monsters, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and a repeat of that image on the front. On the side here, I love this 50s lettering. It really, it does it for me. It says Creature from the Black Lagoon again, 1/6 scale collectible figure, Universal Monsters at the top as on the other side. Let's spin it round and take a look at the back, because the back's quite unusual for a 1/6 scale figure. You've actually got a complete image of the picture itself, all the accessories that come with the figure. There's some shots of it, some nice shots of it here, and this is a really solid card. It's a very nice card, but it's got a very 50s feel about the whole thing. The whole thing is slightly washed out colour-wise, which actually makes it look old and gives it that retro feel, which I'm loving. I really am. Got Universal here at the bottom, so we know it's an officially licensed product. Also, as well, there's actually an image here of the black and white version. Now, I believe this was a limited edition run by Mondo. And they did a black and white version because the original film itself was in black and white. But yeah, so that's the box. It is actually, I mean, it's a very big box, as you can see, but it's actually a magnetically sealed box. And we'll just open it up so you can take a look inside, because what they've done inside is really rather nice. What you've got is this fold-out section, obviously, with a picture of the lagoon. I don't know whether it's the lagoon from the film, but that picture's actually carried on through the back of the window itself. So you've got the figure here, obviously. It says Creature from the Black Lagoon up there, Mondo, Universal Monsters. Behind the clam tray is the stand for the figure, but yeah. So there it is, and very, very nice box it is too. Very retro looking, very retro feeling. So without further ado, let's get this guy out and let's get down onto the table. Not an awful lot coming with this figure. I knew that before it arrived, so the accessories section shouldn't take too long. So without further ado, let's dive down to the table and take a look at everything you get with the creature. Okay, so here we are, down on the table. We've got him out of the box, we've got all the accessories out. This is probably going to be one of the quickest accessory sections we've ever done in one of these review videos, because there's not an awful lot. But yeah, let's crack on with what we've got in front of us. Now, there are 2 extra feet and 2 extra hands. There's a pair of hands already on the figure itself. There's also another head sculpt, so you get 3 head sculpts in total. We'll start with the hands and the feet. Now, the 2 pairs we've got in front of us, well, the pair of hands and the pair of feet we've got in front of us are the swim hands and feet. The ones already on the figure, which we'll take a look at when we get the figure out, are the land hands. So you've got swim feet, swim hands, and land feet. Try saying that after a couple of martinis. So let's take a look at the swim hands first. Now, these are pegged. They're all one solid piece of plastic. There's no articulation here at all. Pretty much like the rest of the figure, it's jointed, but it's all one piece of sculpted plastic. But yeah, so what have we got? Well, the paint applications are quite nice. They're not superb. There's a couple of washes on there. There's some darkened areas there within the webbing on these swim hands. The sculpt's quite nice. You've got what looks like scales there. You can see each individual finger. There are some ugly seams here if you look too closely, but on the whole, they're pretty nicely sculpted for what they are. And like the figure itself, they have this sort of, I don't want to say cheap, that's the wrong word. The figure almost feels vintage, which is in keeping with the actual film itself and the character itself. It's not a figure that's been, shall we say, produced with the same technical finesse as something like a Hot Toys figure or an in-art figure. This is quite simplistic, but for some reason that appeals to me because it's, as I say, in keeping with the figure itself. But yeah, sculpting's quite nice. You've obviously got pegged wrist joints here. Let's take a look at the other one. Same story, I think. Yeah, you look very, very similar story here. I mean, the only real difference, I think, between the swim hands and the land hands is how spread the hands are to reveal those the webbing between the fingers themselves. So yeah, they're the hands. Let's take a look at the swim feet. Once again, all one solid piece of sculpted plastic. A couple of paint applications on there to give sort of a greeny, yellowy, mossy look. There's some nice sculpt work in there. There's some indentations, and the nails are nice. Some of them are quite sharp, so keep an eye out for that. 2 or 3 paint washes on there to give it some depth and some shading. Yeah, and once again, as with the feet that are on the figure, the only real difference between the swim hands and the swim feet and the land feet are how far the digits are spread to reveal the webbing. So there you go. They're your 2 spare feet. I'll probably be going for the swim feet and the swim hands. But let's take a look at the heads. Now, as I said, 3 heads in total. Now, two of those are land heads, and one of those is a swim head. And it's probably at this point, it's probably worth mentioning the 2 actors who actually played this character. They had one actor, I believe his name was Ben Chapman, who played the character on land, and there was another actor, Riku Browning, who went on to be a stunt choreographer, an underwater stunt choreographer, who did all the underwater scenes. Because he had the ability to hold his breath for 4 minutes, apparently, which is quite some feat. I struggled to do it for 4 seconds, as you can probably tell by the commentary in my video. But yeah, let's take a look at these heads. So this one, I believe, is the open-mouthed land head, and yeah, it's a peg joint on the inside there. It's pretty much the same the same story with the paint. Applications here, 2 or 3 paint applications to give it that depth. The actual sculpt itself is I believe is very, very screen accurate, actually. I mean, there is an unfortunate seam across there, but as I said, this is made to a price point. It's not the most expensive figure you'll ever buy, but for what it is, the sculpt is, I think, is pretty screen accurate. The mouth is sculpted very, very well. There are wrinkles. You can see. I wouldn't say these are scales, or probably more fins on the side of his head, but the eyes are nicely detailed with a sort of gold paint and black center. The mouth itself has a wet look inside, and overall, as I say, very, very screen accurate. Let's bring in the swim head. Mouth is slightly less open, and the eyes are black here. They're blacked out. Now, I'm assuming that was to protect the eyes when the creature was underwater, but I'm not sure which head I'll be going for, to be honest with you. I'm not sure which I prefer. I do like this one, although I think the eyes, the blacked out eyes, do give it a more eerie look. I think I'll probably be going with this one, depending on how the other one looks when we get it out. But yeah, so sculpt, accurate, paint applications pretty good, sculpt pretty good as well. So there you have the two heads. So we'll put those to one side. And the only other thing you get with the figure is this stand. Relatively simple. It's just plain black plastic, sort of the shape. Let's call it a splat. It's a black splat. It's got this design on the bottom, not quite sure why. It would have been nice to see that on the top. I think that would be more befitting the character in the film, but it is what it is. And yeah, and it comes with a standard issue crotch grabber as well. Don't think I'll be using this one in the display, to be honest with you. It could have done, it can do, I think this figure deserves something a little bit more befitting the source material itself. But yeah, there you have it. Oh, and a word of caution as well. As I mentioned, that diorama is continued in the on the box on the inside. The stand and the crotch grabber itself actually come in a piece of plastic which is stuck to the back of this box. So it's only taped in, but exercise some caution, because you could quite easily rip this diorama. And if you're wanting to use it, which isn't, quite feasible, you could actually put the stand in there and use it as a diorama display base. You don't want to damage it while you're taking the figure out. So yeah, oh, we did miss one thing, didn't we? Yeah, the fossil hand. This is the hand that they discover, which leads them to the Amazon and the lagoon itself. This is the hand that the scientists discover. There's some nice paintwork here. The sculpting's very nice. There's some washing there on the surface once again to give it that texture. Probably slightly more washes here on this to give it that more sort of aged and bone effect. But yeah, very, very nice it is too. Not quite sure what to do with that. Maybe put it in the display with the figure. I think I may do that. But yeah, so you also get this rather nice fossilized hand as well for your display. So that's all the accessories. So without further ado, let's bring out the main event himself. Let's get him onto the stand, onto the turntable, and see what he's all about. Okay, so here he is, the main event himself, the creature from the Black Lagoon, out of the box, onto the stand and onto the turntable. So let's take a closer look at him. As always, we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. There's not an awful lot to this figure. It's all one sculpted piece of plastic, obviously, connected via the joints. There's no outfit. It's simply, several pieces of sculpted plastic joined together. Yeah, relatively simple. Let's stop him spinning so we can get a closer look. As I mentioned before, these are the land hands and land feet. I think I'll be displaying him with the swim hands and the swim feet, because I prefer that look. It's slightly more menacing with him open palmed and stepping forward. But yeah. The feet themselves, we've looked at the other pair, so nicely sculpted. They're pegged in here. I'll just lift him off a second so we can get an idea of the articulation. Yeah, it's just one simple peg, not an awful lot of movement there. Yeah, it's just quite limited movement. There is one, I think, a plastic cuff here at the, I don't know whether the camera's picking this up, just to allow for a little bit of movement. Yeah, that is actually one separate piece, I think. Yes, it is. But then the sculpting itself is very, very nice on the suit, the body of the figure itself. There are multiple paint washes in there. There's some dry brushing to give it depth, to give that sort of scaled effect, and these sculpted fins on the back that come up to the knee joints. There's not an awful lot of movement in those knees. There's no sideways movement. There's just some slight backwards and forwards movement. So yeah, I think as with most figures of this ilk, your posability is going to be quite limited. But yeah, as you can see there's not a vast amount of movement in those legs. Let's check out the hip joints. Yeah, you're pretty limited there. You can get his legs will move up to almost 90 degrees. Probably come out by about 20 degrees, and there's very little at the back there. It's got a twisting waist, but that's limited as well. And the chest is a separate piece too. You've got three separate, well, it's actually four. There's the waist section, the stomach section, and then two chest sections. Let's get him back on the stand there, so we can take a closer look at this paintwork. The hands, as with the feet, pegged straight in. Joints in the arms. Let's see what the movement's like here. Once again, quite limited in the elbows. There's no lateral movement. There's a little lateral movement, but on the whole, it's pretty good for a figure of this type. The range of motion in the shoulders is pretty good, so we can get him up into the menacing pose if we want to. But the sculpt is exactly the same in the body, the same quality of paintwork. You've got those washes there to highlight that scaled effect, and that continues around the back. Let's spin him round so we can take a look at the back. I do like what they've done here at the back with these spines stroke fins that run all the way down. These very, very screen accurate. That's one thing about this figure. It is exceptionally screen accurate. I have revisited the film, and they've done a pretty good job here of capturing the suit that the actors wore. So yeah, we'll bring him back round again. That paintwork is continued all the way down, and it's all very, very solid, very, very durable, hard plastic. So it's going to be one hell of a tough figure, this as well. It's if it falls, if it gets involved in any accidents, I think it's a survivor, this one. It's going to be a tough cookie, this one, which is nice. It's nice to have a figure like that. But as I say, it's the retro feel of the figure actually is in keeping with the whole atmosphere of the film itself. There's only if I've got a minor complaint, I would say it's the paint on the sculpts, on all of the sculpts, doesn't quite match and looks a little off. It's a little bit more yellow. It's more in sort of in keeping with this torso section, but it's difficult to say whether that's intentional or not intentional, because obviously the film itself was in black and white. But let's have a look at the range of motion in this head, and there's not an awful lot. No, very, very limited. Pretty much nothing backwards and forwards, and a little bit side to side. But it is what it is. Yeah, so there you have it. That is your Mondo figures, Creature from the Black Lagoon. So what we're going to do next is, as we always do, I'm going to swap out these hands for the swim hands and swim feet. Probably going to swap out that head sculpt as well, because that's not my favourite. And we're going to get him onto, we're going to ditch this base, get him onto something more appropriate, get him into the Detolf, and see how this guy displays under the Detolf light. So without further ado, it's over to the Detolf. Okay, so here we are over at the Detolf. We've got the Creature from the Black Lagoon onto a display stand, into a pose. As I mentioned before, we've used the swim hands and the swim feet simply because I think they look more menacing. We've stuck with the open mouth land head though, because I think it works best with this figure. So let's have a quick look at the guy and see how he displays. I'm actually quite liking this. The retro feel is fantastic. It really, really is, and I do love, as I mentioned before, my vintage science fiction and horror. We've got him on the Jake Sully Avatar base by Hot Toys. It was the closest thing to a swamp that I could find in my collection, and I think it displays pretty well. I mean, let's say it as it is. It's not high end. It's not sophisticated. It's very, very simple. It's very, very straightforward. No nonsense. Is it expensive? Not particularly. Is it sophisticated? Not particularly. Is it a good representation of the creature from the Black Lagoon? Absolutely. I'm loving the way they've captured that suit. They've captured the likeness really, really well of the creature from the film. The paintwork on the scales and on the suit is pretty good. It's pretty good. The suit itself wasn't particularly sophisticated in the film, so why should the figure be? But yeah, I'm liking this guy. I really am, and as a big fan of Universal Monsters and the classic Universal Monsters, I'm really, really happy to have this in my collection. It isn't high end. We aren't talking Hot Toys. We aren't talking in art. But what we are talking is the fun of collecting and of finding a figure from a film that you really, really like and you really, really want in your collection. So there you have it. That is The Creature from the Black Lagoon by Mondo. And a lot of fun it is too. So I suppose all that remains for me to say is thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any more content that's coming up. What do you think of this figure? What are your thoughts on simplicity in the 6 scale world? But yeah, so I suppose all it remains for me to say is thank you for watching. Oh, and what's coming up? In the not too distant future, oh crikey, we've got the Bandai Namco Godzilla. That's coming in pretty soon from Godzilla -1. We've got art figures, Boba Voss from C. Really looking forward to that. Mr. W's just arrived, so a review for him will be going up pretty soon. That's the Mars Toys take on Bruce Wayne, Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne from the '89 Batman. We've got the Hot Toys Dead Strange, that's coming in soon. And the Marauder, leader of the Marauders, aka Humongous from Mad Max 2. I believe that's a Premiere Toys release, so that's going to be coming up in the not too distant future. So, once again, thank you for watching. Look after yourselves, and happy collecting.